Let's start with this one. Elijah Martin over 1.5 assists, minus 111. So he did not have a single assist against Tech, but 10 games prior, had at least 2 dimes in 7 of them. So he's hitting at about a 70% clip in the 10-game sample size. Had 2 against Maryland, 3 against UConn, 2 against Norfolk, but there wasn't an assist market available for that game. I think this is going to be a close game, a ton of possessions. I don't know how high scoring it's going to be. I'm hoping it's a little bit lower scoring, but I kind of like Martin, especially with their ball movement, to have at least 2 dimes here. I think the number should be closer to 2.5 like it was in the regular season and in the early round games. Instead, we drop it down to 1.5. So I'll go with Martin over 1.5 assists. Minus 111 is the price right now over at BetMGM. Kenny, politely hit me with the hoops. Nice and polite. Yeah, thank you.
Oh, I can never go wrong with little Billy Raft into your life. All right, the Dunks props, they have officially surfaced right now at BetMGM, and I'm going to live and land down under on the first one that I royally loved, and I fired off this immediately. It is heavier juice, and it's very rare that I feature bets with this high of a juice, but I think it's warranted. Minus 165 on the under for the Houston Cougars at 2.5. I just wrote an article for The Athletic. This was a lead prop in it in the wacky edition of some of the Final Four action that is out there. I absolutely love this because you look at Houston in this NCAA tournament so far, they've only gone over this prop one time. And the one time they went over the prop on 2.5 team dunks, it was with Purdue. They had 3 in that game, and it's understandable because PU was rather stanky, to say the least, in their interior defense for the entire season. And coming in the NCAA tournament, they allowed over 60% from 2 over their last 30-day span. So they were extremely exploitable, susceptible, vulnerable in that category. And Houston rocked the rim a trio of times as a result. They're not going to have that luxury against Duke because of Malawach. He's 7'2". He's got the wingspan of a condor. I think he's the best true rim protector in all of college basketball, and a major reason why Duke on the season is number 6 in near proximity percentage defense in their last 10 games. They've only given up 43.2% from 2. It's all about Malawach. As long as he can stay out of foul trouble, and Duke has depth in the front court. They got another backup who's a long drink of water as well. I don't think Houston is going to be, rocking that rim a multitude of times. So give me the under on 2.5 dunks. Hell, if this line moves to 1.5 and it could somehow, some way get it at plus money, I would still hit the under. I think they're only going to have one flush in this game. So Houston under 2.5 team dunks. My first play to minus 165. Kenny, hit me with the hoops.
Maybe some major onions.
The GOAT right there. All right, let's go with a under here. I'm going to go Tyrese Proctor under 2.5 assists. Now, I'm not going to lie. This was minus 135. I'm looking right now, and the under is minus 204. The over is plus 142. So at this point, I think this almost just has to be like an SGP piece. But I still like Proctor under 2.5 dimes here. I think the ball is going to be in Cooper Flagg's hands the majority of this game. That's what I love about his game so much. Like, sure, he could go off for 30 or 40 in this game, but he could also just have 8 assists and 15 rebounds, right? So he only had 3 assists. He's had 3 assists, I should say, and only 3 of his last 10 games. The number's a little skewed here because he did have 5 assists in that game against Mount St. Mary's, but this is Houston. I don't even know how many points we're going to have in this game, so I do like Tyrese Proctor under 2.5 assists, but man, so did somebody else apparently this morning, so maybe wait and see if that comes back around. I don't think that's playable by itself at minus 220 or whatever it's at right now, but I still like him to have under 3 dimes in this game. Kenny, hit me with the hoops.
Big time delivery. How about those onions, Grant? Woo!
All right, let's get another under on the board, and I'm going to go back to team dunks, and this time I'm going to zero in on that Auburn-Florida matchup, and I say Auburn goes under 2.5 dunks. A more affordable juice compared to the Houston one at a minus 118. You look what Auburn has done in the dunks category here in this NCAA tournament. They've gone 2, 1, 2, and 1. A nice little pattern there, so maybe this is going to be a pair of dunks. Well, Captain Hook, yar, shiver me timbers, would come into play still, and I would still be able to catch the under if that is the case, and I think it will be. I mean, Florida's got a lot of rim protectors. Alex Condon, Chinny Lou especially. Duke was number 6 in near proximity percentage defense on the air. Florida's right behind him at number 7 in that category this season. They've only given up 48.1% inside the arc from 2 in their last 10 games. So maybe Caldwell gets a flush. Maybe Janiah Broome gets a flush, and that's it. Auburn, to me, is going to hit the under, and I might be comfortably, you're not going to really have to sweat this sucker out on the 2.5 dunks at a minus 118 juice. Again, one of my favorite bets available right now at BetMGM on this year's Final Four. Kenny, hit me with the hoops.
Hutchins! Double order!
All right. So 135.5 is the total. Duke Houston, second game of the Final Four, of course. I kind of like the under here. Haven't bet the under yet, but two really good defensive teams, obviously. Two top 5 defensive teams. And the props are all, kind of how they've been priced, though, the last 4 games here in the tournament. So I'm going to go Juwan Roberts. This is kind of scary. Under 10.5 points.
Yep.
This surprised me a little bit, man. He only went over 10 points. Now, his average on the season is 10.5, right? But he's only went over this number in 3 of his last 10 games. He did have 18 against the Zags. We probably could have got 18 against the Zags in that game, though. 9 against Tennessee, 5 against Purdue. The last time before that he hit double figures was when he scored 11 against Baylor back in the conference tournament. So he had the 18 against the Zags, 11 against Baylor. But yeah, man, I do not see him having 11 to 12 points in this game. So we'll go with Roberts under 10.5 points, and you could get that minus 110 right now. So I like that quite a bit.